Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Sorry for the delay. Had a lot of stuff I was doing, aka eating. I had to cook and eat, and I took Max out. So, we'll be getting started in just a minute. I'm just gonna share this stream on my Discord and then also on Facebook. Give me 1 second. Streams. I hope that y'all are all doing well. Alright, got that going. Alrighty. Ooh, I didn't realize how thirsty I was. Alright, so I'm just going to share on Facebook and then I'll get going. Let me see here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to... Alright. And we're going. Okay. So that is situated. Hey Andrew, how's it going? I'm doing alright. Hope you're doing well. Hey Mike. I'm doing just great, just fine. Excited to be doing a stream today. So yeah, just in case y'all didn't see my message, streams are gonna be on Wednesdays, and then sometimes I'll do them on Saturdays as well. Oh, camera's gone crooked. Give me 1 second, I'm just gonna tighten that. Alright, hopefully that'll stay relatively okay. But how are y'all doing? Hope y'all are doing well. Alrighty, so for those of you who aren't familiar with how no problem, Mike. With how I do these kinds of streams, I start off, I do gesture drawing for, not too long, but an appropriate amount of time. Of course, that happened. Yeah, we are getting up there in likes already, so I do appreciate that. Always appreciate the likes. Sorry, Andrew, give me 1 second. I'm just pulling up the stuff for my gestures. 1 minute. Gesture poses. Manga. Poses. Alright, so we got that going. About art, it's going decent. I found out why I was bad at drawing poses, and I just gotta practice now. That's good. It's always nice when you find something that, you were doing incorrectly, and you're like, oh man, that's what it was. I kind of had that happen to me the other day, actually. It's just a nice reminder. Because sometimes you get into situations and you start to feel like you've regressed a lot, and it's not necessarily that. Sometimes you actually are seeing things a little more clearly. Alright. So we got everything situated, and I just need to apply which session I want to do. Tuesday session. Right, that is not the one I want to do. No. Because that one is way too long. I'm doing 51 minutes of gesture. This one, yeah, this is the one. Sorry, I'm just trying to pick the session that I want to do. I think this will be good. Alright, so we're about 30 minutes of gesture, and then the second part is going to be just working on anatomy. I'm going to add one more folder, and then we'll be good to go. Perfect. Alright. Let's get started here. So, for those of you who don't know, I do multiple gestures. I think this is 15 gestures. Each one is, I spend a minute. Stream to help you do your homework. Oh, you're saying that you like watching the streams as you're doing your homework? It helps you get it done, or are you asking me to do a stream to help you with your homework? But yeah, so I do these gestures, and I give myself a minute and a half for each one. This is something that you should be practicing multiple times a week if you want to be a manga artist, or an artist just in general. Any kind of artist that wants to draw characters, which is most people. You should be practicing this very consistently. Wow, this is very out of proportion. Of course, I can't use my tool. Jeez. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go up here and pause really fast. Come down here. Alright. Let's see if that helps. I'm gonna shift back. Probably not. Okay. I saw your comment, Andrew. Give me 1 second and I'll get right to it. I am going to pause this so I can read your comment now, so I get my own music going. I found out my problem with drawing poses was that I was imagining poses and not looking at gesture drawings to see how poses actually look, and it ended up looking unnatural. Yes, so that is something that, like, people say it and they don't actually understand, or they hear it or they say it, and people that are listening don't actually understand what they're saying. And typically what's said is, draw what you see and not what you think you see. Because what happens is like, if you have false confidence in your drawings, and you go, not saying that that's the case for you, but that was the case for you, but some people have this like false confidence in their drawing ability, and they're like, oh, I don't need to look at reference anymore or whatever. And what ends up happening is they're drawing what they think they see and not what they're actually seeing. That's another reason why I like gestures so much, is because it's all drawing what you see and not what you think you see. Granted, because of how quickly gesture drawings go, sometimes you are drawing what you like think you're seeing instead, but you're looking at so many poses within a given session that it's impossible not to pull something away from it that's going to be helpful. Even if that something is just like your ability to look at a pose and get the general piece of it out, right? And that's a huge skill to learn. Like some people do not get that very easily. Oops. That's good enough. And the other thing you can get from gesture too is you start to figure out, hey, what's actually important in the figure to make it look good and what is not. You'll start to learn things like feet. Feet are super important in figures, because without feet being accurate, you unfortunately have a body that looks like it's floating. Sorry, Coop, I saw your comment. Just give me 1 second. Oh no. Ran out of time. Sorry, give me 1 second, Coop. Let me get this next gesture in and I'll look at your comment. Another thing that's super good about consistently doing gestures as well is that you start to inherently innately just learn proportion without even really realizing it. Like your brain just starts to like, it's really interesting because it happened to me a couple of months ago actually. But your brain just starts to be like, no, that's not right. But you don't really know why it's not right until you start to, I don't know. At some point, it starts to become second nature as to why it's wrong. It's like, no, it's because the proportion is off. Oops. All right. Mike making a homework stream sounds like you got to think of some questions for the homework. Or it could be a tutoring stream. I used to be a tutor. Sorry, give me 1 second, Andrew. It's good that I found out the problem because at least I know where to start, as much as I hate starting over. Also, doing homework while watching a chill stream is nice since I don't need to be completely focused on the stream but can still listen, right? It's 100% true. What I actually like doing now is I like to put on one of, like Mark has a few of the later classes in his course, in his courses, where he just is sitting there drawing and there's like music, pretty much like this stream is, right? It's just like kind of me drawing with some music, and I talk to y'all every once in a while. And I found that the best work that I do is when I'm just drawing and then I have his stuff on in the background. It makes me feel like I'm working with somebody. That's an ADHD thing, actually. Is people with ADHD, they call it like parallel working or something like that. But it helps people go. How do you exaggerate a pose? That's a fantastic question. So, and also welcome back. It's been, I think, a stream or two since I saw you. I still like, hopefully, I like felt bad because you asked a question about the biceps last time, and my answer, I think it came off more harsh than I wanted, so I wanted to apologize. I was just trying to explain, and I got like kind of hyper about it, and I just wanted you to know that like it was a very helpful and thoughtful question, and I don't want you to think that I wasn't being kind and courteous to that. So how do you exaggerate a pose? Let me find a good pose really fast to show this. Alright. Oh, that didn't work out properly. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm pulling up a pose really fast. Copy. Alright. Oh, I guess I can't do it that way, so let me import. This is going to be easier for me to show with a pose that's a little more subdued. So where is it? The one that I was just looking at. This one. So let's look at this pose. Also just means I won't try to procrastinate by finding YouTube videos to watch. It's true. I do the same thing, even with my own like art. At some point I saw the problem, so I started replicating poses I thought of drawing in real life to see if I can move in that way. Yep, that's exactly how you do it, right? That's how you like learn how to do things from imagination anyways, is you draw it and then you find a pose that's similar and then you correct it. So let's look at this pose, Saw. So if I wanted to exaggerate this pose, what I want to look at is some of these, like, I'm going to put this above, some of these planes here. So I'm looking at like the, I can't remember what that's called, but it's like the shoulder girdle, I believe. And then I look at the 2 points of the iliac crest. So it has that, and then the knees follow that same path, and so do the ankles. And then I also look at like this curve, for instance, and this curve, and you know, even line of action could be this, or some people might do something like this. But you look at this. PTSD from anatomy. Alright. So, I'm looking at that, and I want to do this pose, but I want to take those things and push them a bit. So, instead of having this angle, I'm going to pull the angle up, and that's maybe a little too much, but we'll go with it. I'll pull the angle up this way. I'm also seeing like this angle. So instead of doing this, you're gonna make a T this way. All right, and then you can put the ball. And now, since this is tilted more, we can tilt this even more. And again, we're making like little T's here, right? That's a good way of making sure things are pretty evenly balanced. Not balanced, but that's the way that we can make sure things look structured, is by having these like 90-degree angles and stuff. because that's what it is, right? This is a 90-degree angle right here and here. So now the trick becomes making this look balanced, or as balanced as possible. So with this one way up here like this, and this is going to not actually be the weight-bearing leg, it looks like from this pose, which I would argue maybe that's not actually correct, but let's say that this is going to actually be let me see here. Let's do this. And I'm gonna make this leg weight bearing. And you want the heel to be like in here, probably right around here. Let me see, let's pull it this way. So like that. And so now, since this is so high, this angle isn't going to be the same anymore, right? It's going to be equivalent to this. Now this is really like, I've like jerked this pretty deeply in, right? Like this is like an accordion. Oh my gosh, this commercial's driving me nuts. Get out of here. All right, so now the knee is probably going to land right about here. And I'll pull it in a little bit, just like this one is. Just a bit. And now the ankles are going to follow that same path. So let's do this way. So now how do I make it so that this foot touches the ground? All right, well, let's look at where the knee is. So with the leg going inward, the knee is going to be kind of towards the inside, so our foot is also going to go that way just a bit. So you're going to see this back part of the foot. We're going to get that, right? All right, and then now we even can exaggerate. Or not exaggerate, but you can do the arms. And with this being so pronounced now, it's actually going to come out further and then in. It's a little sloppy, but so you're gonna get something like that, and that'll be like your exaggerated pose. And then like this feels a little unbalanced to me, so to like check that, what I'll do is I will take the middle of this character and make sure that the heel, like, or a leg is like somewhat aligned with that, or the mass of the body is like equally distributed, and it is, so it's fine. But that's how you would exaggerate. Now this is an extreme example. Like, I don't really think that this works that well because this leg is kind of funky looking. In reality, I think what you would end up having to do actually is probably take this leg and oops. I would actually probably take this leg and pull it this way a bit. Or something like that, right? But we'll keep it how it was. But hopefully that answers your question and felt helpful. Yep. already. So we'll keep that as another gesture. And we'll go to this next one. Which one do I want to do? Let's do this. This is definitely a good manga pose here. I just find exaggeration crucial because anatomy usually stiffens your poses. Yeah, it definitely does. You're absolutely correct. And that's why gesture is so important, because it helps you, like if you really want to like work on your, whatchamacallit, your exaggerated poses, you should be doing what I'm doing like almost every day. Not every day, but make sure you're doing it multiple times a week, like at least 2. That's exactly why I do it. I struggle with exaggerating the pose, because I have a decent understanding of anatomy. I'm not going to say I'm perfect at it, but I have a pretty decent understanding, and with that comes stiffness. This arm's kind of wonky. Let me redo it. It's wonky because the other thing that you see me do pretty frequently that helps with that too is like the opposing curve theory. Some people use like force theory is very similar, but if you look at some of my stuff, you'll notice these curves that I use even for things that are semi-straight that definitely will help your art not get too stiff, and it'll exaggerate what you have for a pose too. So I will show you an example as I'm doing this gesture in just a second here. And at this point, like I've gotten so used to it, I just kind of do it innately. So, for instance, this one, it's subtle, but there's a curve this way. So now, I'm going to curve this part of the arm that way. I mean, granted, it's bent, so this might not be the greatest example. Here, let me see if I can find a good one here. There's a lot of like pinched pieces in this, so it's not as easy to kind of exemplify here. Yeah, this one's not a great example of that because of how bent she is. Give me 1 second and I will just kind of show it to you. So, opposing curve theory is crucial to a lot of stuff, but if you're going to draw things from imagination, it'll really, really help you. All right, Andrew, I hear you. So that's the theory of like, if you have a cylinder that you kind of exaggerate it to go this way, your next cylinder is going to flow the opposite way. This gesture might be an okay example, but what that does is it gives your drawing fluidity. So let me. Let me see, is this one going to be a good example? Maybe. Of course, it doesn't apply to every like drawing, because some of your drawings are going to have bends. But yeah, this one I think I can get away with it a bit. So this curve is here. So the curve for the shin bone, I'm going to kind of pull out that way a bit. So now you have this nice flow and then the foot. I am going to edit this just a bit because this is going kind of back in space a little bit more than I have it. And then this one's going to have it slightly too. So we have this bend, and then again it's going to curve inwards. Foot there. We have this again here, and now actually this one I would argue is probably going to be the opposite, just because of how the musculature is. But you kind of get the picture. That's a good way to help your drawings not feel so stiff, is to use opposing curve theory. Like this one's probably another good example for that. For this leg that I'm getting ready to draw in particular. So we get this curve, and you don't want to take and go like this again because it's breaking up the flow. And even if it's not like the most anatomically correct thing, doing it like this, and then you get an ankle here that's like, this is all going way back in space. And now you have this curve, and then you can do the foot kind of with this curve here. Again, might not be the greatest anatomically, but it is going to give you a little bit more flow. And for manga and comics, especially like if you're gonna do like a webtoon, I would say like your anatomy matters, because it always matters. You have to be able to show, you know, at least some form of accuracy in your drawing. But I would argue these kinds of things are more important because, like, again, this isn't a super anatomically correct pose, but it looks pretty decent because of the flow that was created with the opposing curves theory. This is another really good, like, action pose. I'm glad I found this one. Collect poses, by the way, and consistently draw them when you're doing your gestures. That way you can start to memorize. It's a really... I always forget how much fun I have doing gestures. I haven't been doing them as consistently because I've been starting to work on my next manga. And I want to actually do it. That's Andrew actually brought this up earlier, and I was going to say something about it. But my big flaw is that I never think that I'm like my art is good enough, and then it creates this situation in which I don't do projects that would make me enjoy the art. So I'm just endlessly practicing, and that's not helpful for me, because in fact I think that I will learn more and do better if I, instead of practicing, if I actually do the manga, right? And in fact, doing the manga is the practice. How do I expect to get better at creating manga and be able to help other people with manga if I don't create manga? Right? So, yeah, I'm happy with that. It's fine. here. I could have, let me take this, I'm gonna bend this just a bit more. Alright, so Coop with the monkeys. Did I ever get to your thing, Coop? Yeah. Okay. I thought I forgot to like read one of your comments. A little bit more of a break here, 25 more seconds, and we'll get started again. Promote you to owner. I don't think you can get any more of a promotion than you already have. And I can't give you my channel. No, I can't. You have the highest promotion there is, Coop. Alright. Back at it. I think these last few have been 2 minutes, because there's no way I just did all that in 30 seconds. So I will probably do something about that in just a second. You know, I'm just gonna, yeah, it is 2 minutes. So I'll just skip to the next one once I get to 1:30, so we don't take up all the time here. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that, so we will, actually let me just make this foot a little bigger so it pops into the foreground a little more. Alright, we shall go to the next one. come on, man. Next. That's it. Cool. So let's see what our spoils of war like for today. Yeah, it's a good day's work. Yeah, this came out pretty good. I'm proud of those, especially considering it's been a little while. Oh. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do basically this. I'm gonna try to do this without looking at it for reference, so I can see how well I've memorized my own like anatomy stuff. So I'm also gonna try to time myself. I'm gonna give myself let me find the timer. I'm only gonna give myself about 10 minutes. Because this is supposed to be, eventually it's something I hope I can get done in about 6 minutes. Because, you know, it's what I'm gonna be doing every time I draw a character for my manga. So. After I do this, I'll probably be done. I want to leave myself enough energy to work a little bit more on my character that I've been working on. I have like probably 2 this character, 1 more, probably like 2.5 characters to finish up, and then I'll be pretty much ready to go on starting to do the thumbnails and stuff for my webtoon or my voice me manga. So alright, so let's start off in here. Actually, instead of doing that exact angle, I'm going to do yeah, never mind. Let me just do a front angle for today. Why can't I draw a head? I hate when I do this to myself. Get all nervous. Move on. Alright. T and flatter than what I have. It's funny, I always draw slightly crooked. I never draw like perfectly vertical. Alright. So yeah, this is like pretty much my process for how I draw a character using that mannequin that you just saw me using. Sorry, I wanted to... These are pretty fast and nice gestures. I'm drawing along, and this method makes drawing poses effortless. I used to struggle with static reference poses with the balance and keeping it level, but now it seems effortless, especially the back pose. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. These are looking good, Mike, and this is a bit of a layoff in gestures. I wouldn't say, like, it's just me, like, I haven't been doing, like, because I was doing them twice a week for streams, I do gesture, like, I'll draw a body or two, like, every day. Like, I don't really take that kind of time off, but for me, using this app that I use for on here, it's been since the last Saturday stream that I did, I think. But yeah, I appreciate that, Mike. Alright, don't really care too much about the hand, so let's pull this down. I'm going to check proportions. That looks good to me. Elbows look pretty good. I could probably... One thing I noticed is that I could probably pull my elbows down just a bit past the rib cage, just to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and add anatomy. So we'll go top bottom. Actually, I like to start with the chest muscle, the pectoralis major. Alright, and now we can go top bottom. Sternocleidomastoid. The trapezius muscle. It's gonna poke out here. His shoulders are a little narrow, so I'm just going to go back here, get this lasso. I'm just going to pull his shoulders out just a little bit, nothing too crazy, and really the pec doesn't have to change too much here. Nope, not a female character. Sorry, I'm gonna pause my timer so I can answer your questions. The reason why you probably think it's a female character is because a lot of the gestures that I work from, Mike, are female gestures. So my mannequin is definitely a little more feminine, but it's easy to make it look like more masculine when you put anatomy on it. Do the arms naturally point outwards from elbow down? Are you talking about synth laser? Or are you talking about this piece right here? Alright, back to the timer. Alright, so we got 5 minutes. Let's see if I can get this in. I would say probably not. But the reason why I do that, if you ever have time, definitely check out the first part of this video. But the reason why I kind of did that was because I want to make sure that my drawings don't look too stiff. Because once you start adding this anatomy on that I'm kind of adding on right now, it's gonna make your stuff pretty stiff. Here, and then remember, ladies and gents, this goes down a little lower. The bicep slides underneath the pec. The pec needs to probably come up a bit. Alright, so it's gonna go underneath. I don't know why I did that, because my line was fine before. So it goes underneath the pec, it doesn't go over top the pec. The tricep from the front, you're definitely gonna see it. You might even see the inside. For these arms, no. I am going to, I have noticed I do this too. There's not enough bend in the arm. Oops. So I'm going to take this, yank it outward a bit, and now I can take this just to give it a little bit more of a natural look than what I had, because it was looking really stiff. Same over here. But yeah, Lizard, I would say that that's like, for me, that's one of those circumstances that I would say is like my stylistic choice. Like, I understand that your arm doesn't actually do that, but I have decided to do that with my anatomy so that it looks a little better. It's more aesthetically pleasing, at least in my opinion it is. Alright, so out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Alright, so now from this angle, we're gonna get here, here, down a bit, and then out a little. Alright. One thing I don't like that I'm doing is I'm kind of being scratchy with my lines. That'll clear up though as I better learn my style. Oh, I definitely am not going to. The abs are something I'm struggling with too. Alright, so it's gonna take me more than 10 minutes because that already went up. Let's put another 3 minutes on and see if I can get it done to 13. I might cheat just for a second. Actually, no. Do my best guess, Here, here, and then here maybe. Okay. Oops. I'm gonna pull this one down a bit more. Probably this one too. Here. Right over here. One thing that I'm noticing already is this guy's definitely a little more thin in here, so I'm gonna thicken him up just a bit. Alright. I'm terrible with my scratchy lines. I try too much to get a good line by going back and forth over it rather than doing it one stroke. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing right now. I'm not confident in what I'm drawing quite yet, so it's creating a situation in which I am being too scratchy. Alright, so we get this here, 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 knee, here, here, this needs to pop out more. And so the timer is up, but I'm almost finished at this point. Here. I think that both of these. Music stopped. Oh. It's because a timer was going off. That should be better. Thanks. All right. Alright, here, let me draw on this head real fast so he's not totally headless when we go to take this stuff away. And facial expressions are one of those topics or one of those things that I definitely will have to practice because it's not my strong suit right now. I'm going to have to heavily rely on reference for that once I start creating. But I do a lot of faces and stuff outside of stream. If I don't have a lot of time in the day, I draw like a billion heads and stuff. So at nighttime, right before I go to sleep. How do I feel about this? not bad. I don't know why this needs to go up. And I could probably do that. I think that I could probably do this as well. He just doesn't have a neck. Need to take this and pull this down just a hair, and I can fix the delts. This isn't horrible. It's not great though. Probably need to that makes it feel a little better for me. Neck just still wasn't long enough. Alright. I'm gonna just clean this up. And I can go in here now. Clear that up. All right. That doesn't feel too bad. So yeah, you know, it's been maybe like 20-ish minutes that I started doing this, which isn't great. Like, I want to be able to get that down to about, I know that this was a lot, but at some point I would like to get down what I just did in about 10 minutes time. Or actually not even 10 minutes. I want to get it down to about 6, but let's see. Let's see how this looks in comparison to the other one, and we can just do that quickly. Really, I would say the one I did today is more accurate, actually, which is good. That's what you want. But pretty much the same lines and stuff, which is good because it's showing consistency. So yeah, I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, you can't. My bad. Give me 1 second. So as you can see, like, problems here. Arms are a bit too long on this one. Shoulders are a bit too narrow. Everything else is relatively good though for this one. And then the one I did today, the left arm needs to be pulled out a bit more. So I'm gonna actually do that now. Yeah, I think that, oops. This could be pulled out to about here, I think. It's not much of a difference, but I can feel it, and it's bugging me. All right, and then we can get Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. But I agree, actually. I think it is better. It's scratchy, but it's going to be scratchy until I'm... Yeah. It's going to be scratchy until I really start to get down like the lines that I enjoy and stuff like that. But like, you know, again, like, yeah, this took me, what, 20 minutes, but this is a pretty anatomically correct, it's not perfect, but pretty anatomically correct figure, and I can build off of this, and it'll look fine when I put it in a manga, right? Especially for a manga that's going to be scroll based, where people are looking on their phones, and you know, they're only looking at it for maybe a few minutes or a few seconds, and they're moving on. Like, this is plenty good enough, I think, for people to pass by and they're like, oh, it's a body, like it's a muscular body, perfect, and then they move forward, right? So yeah, I'm gonna call that a day. Appreciate all of y'all for jumping on and hanging out with me. I'm almost positive I won't do a stream this Saturday. I can kind of lay out my schedule for you. So this Saturday, I would say probably not. Saturday the 4th definitely will. Saturday the 11th definitely will not. And then the following Saturday I will. So, hey, we got 10 likes. Nice. Celebrate. I'm not sure though. Maybe this Saturday and next Saturday I will, but I'll post Friday once I know for sure. But appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Synth Lizard, thank you for saying it was a good session. I'm glad that you enjoyed. Thank you all. Thank you so much, and take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Keep drawing. Don't get discouraged. Don't be like me. I get discouraged frequently, and it stops me from achieving the goals that I want to achieve. So make sure you stay positive. There's somebody out there that looks at your art and wishes that their art was like yours. Just remember that. No matter what level you're at, that's definitely the truth. So I hope that y'all have a great rest of your week. Again, we'll see about Saturday. I might be able to stream. I have a lot of like stuff around my house that I'm going to be doing. But I hope that y'all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Peace.